It's 40s, right? Um, right now, and so but when the sun goes down, 40s without the sun feels really a lot colder than 40 degrees.
Yeah, and is it kind of like a wet cold there?
It
Like
is, yeah, yeah,
we have kind of like a wet cold, and it kind of
yeah,
like pierces
yeah.
pierces the coats and everything. So
They were predicting frost warnings across the state of Indiana, but I have yet to see that. But hopefully we missed that. But it is like it's a dewy kind of cold, right? There'll
yep.
be dew on everything in the morning.
Yeah.
But yeah, so how are you doing out there? We're really seeing some incredible conversations happen on the bench here, and so we've just been so blessed so far to participate in this. And thank you. I was on with Tom earlier. Thank you so much for piloting this and having the vision and letting Tom run with it and do what they need to do to make sure that we got 70 plus people like me sitting on benches all across the country, and just what a great testimony to being faithful to what God has in store for us.
Yeah, it's really great to see so many people. And I was texting with my chief operating officer, my chief strategy officer, who's really probably the main person behind all the logistics. At least from the Fresno mission side, but he's really the one who's wrote most of the materials. And his daughter's getting married, and so he actually couldn't be here today, but he's been texting me, and he was saying, man, I keep hoping that we'll get like a big splash or a big some big media attention, and I said, I don't think we're going to get a big, huge boulder in the middle of the lake, but I think what's happening is that we're throwing a rock and it's creating a lot of ripples, and that to me seems like what's been happening across the country. Everyone, I mean, of course, we were on the front nine. We're about to go on the back nine, right? And the front nine is the easier part than the back nine. But everyone's been very positive. There's been some great things have happened.
Yeah.
And really encouraging stories. People are psyched, and so what's your experience been over the first kind of 12 and a half hours?
It's been a good experience. So we've had some pretty incredible conversations. It's really kind of interesting how something simple like a simple bench can ordinary thing like a bench can really be the vehicle for some extraordinary conversations. And that's what we're seeing here. And some of the most powerful conversations that have been from some of our former program guests who now work for us. 40% of my 200 plus staff members are former program folks and have gone through our program. And some of the most powerful discussions have been those guys sitting here on the bench talking to me about it. In fact, one of the case managers broke down as he was talking about his father, and when his father, who he really hadn't had a relationship with for many number of years, had reconnected, and the whole family reunification thing, Matt, and he broke down, and I actually had to give him a moment on camera, while I was sitting there talking to the folks, on Facebook Live and on YouTube about what's happening with Chazelle is his name, and he's my cowboy. Where's the cowboy hat? He's a black cowboy. Where's the cowboy hat and everything? And he was.
I saw that. I saw that. I was watching as that was happening. That was a really powerful, powerful moment. We were watching that here.
Yeah.
So
really
that,
all of us here. And,
powerful moment.
But what about out there? I mean, are you actually having conversations? Or are you just serving as this technology hub thing out there?
I would say like 75% of the time we're serving as kind of the hub.
Yeah.
And so, or talking just like we're talking now with some different missions around the country. We had, interesting. What's kind of been funny is that we've people know in the community that we're doing conversations on a bench, but we've told them it's different this year. And what's kind of been funny is that we've had people show up, they're ready to talk, and we didn't invite them to talk. They just showed up. They're like, I want to go back on the bench and talk some more. And so which has been kind of fun. So we've hopped on the bench, not intending to kind of do these full ones, and had good conversations with people. there's part of what's also been neat is we've had some people, obviously Citygate is the association, right? And they're not they're from Colorado Springs, they're not here, but we've also had a couple where Tom has sat down and talked to some of our past clients and had great conversations with them as well. But for me, the blessing for me this year has been really getting to watch everybody else. And as you know, sitting on the bench is very taxing. It is hard having conversations with people for the better part of 24 hours.
Yeah, my voice is starting to go a little bit, and I still got about another 12 hours to go.
Yeah, and it's taxing, and so this year for me, while I'm still staying up for staying here for 24 hours and helping, it's been a blessing just to watch everybody thrive and hear the positive stories. So,
well, you guys, thank you for your bold leadership, and like I said before, letting Tom run with this, and I'm convinced that we're going to have even more people next year, God will see us through here. But I'm looking forward to like the daylight hours too, and kind of seeing what's happening there. With we've got a lot of folks scheduled during more of the daylight hours, and I'm just looking forward to some of those conversations as well.
Yeah. And I'll tell you what it felt like to me is that you're in the hardest part right now, right? It's part where no one's awake. You should be sleeping. If you're most tired, you're the most cold. And then to me, something happens when the sun starts to come out in the morning. And I always felt like you get a second wind, you get rejuvenated. People start to come out. They've had like a whole day kind of hearing about it, and they come out, and it feels even more relaxing because you start out and you're like kind of nervous. How's this going to work? And, and then you get in that final stretch. And I always felt like you just got this second wind, and the sun would come out. You feel like Superman again, and, lifts your spirits, and people come out, and then it's just, you're relaxed, you're good to go. Hopefully someone brings you some good breakfast, some coffee, and
I hope so. I've made a couple of pleas, and I made a plea earlier today, and somebody brought me donuts, and so I was telling them I want donuts, and so they did bring me some donuts. But so people have been responding. We've got a great community here in Indianapolis, and since we're the largest provider here in the entire state, we have kind of an outsized role, and we take that very serious. It's a sacred responsibility, but at the same time, we have a great community of other providers who do a lot of other services for individuals experiencing homelessness as well. And so we couldn't do it without everybody pulling together. And so I'm looking forward to talking to a lot of my counterparts at CEOs of other organizations. I had some today. I've got many more tomorrow because they are the experts. And at that point, Matt, I tell people I want to do more listening than I want to do talking, because I want to get some ideas. I want to get some creative strategies to take back to that executive team table upstairs, so that we can continue to fight this fight. And as well as I do, it's a fight. It's a battle. What we do every day, it's an absolute battle. But I'm convinced it's one that we're going to win. Because we got the right guy on my side, and his name is Jesus.
Yep. Amen to that. Yeah. Amen to that. Yeah. Well, Perry, I'm gonna let you get some sleep, man. I'm gonna let you get some sleep there. It's late there.
Yeah, it is. But thank you again. I'm sure you're coming to Grand Rapids, right? So I'll see you in Grand Rapids.
Yep. Yes, sir. Yeah.
So looking forward to seeing you in our neck of the woods in the Midwest. I'm so glad guys are coming back to the Midwest. That's fantastic.
Yep. Awesome. And we'll connect again over the prayer at the end of this sucker.
Yeah, we will, Matt. Thanks a lot.
Thanks, Barry.
Appreciate you.